It's time again for Northwestern Outdoors Radio, the show covering fishing, hunting, and all sorts of outdoor recreation and destinations right here in the region you live and play in. Northwestern Outdoors is brought to you every week by Max Lure Company, makers of the world-famous wedding ring spinner, by Loophole, America's Optics Authority, and by Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter. Northwestern Outdoors is also sponsored by Wallowa County in Northeast Oregon, where you'll find both nature and fun. By Chad's Coast White Sports Fishing, offering you the affordable Canadian fishing trip of a lifetime. And by Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors. So grab your fishing rod or hunting gear, load up the boat or lace up your boots, and let's head outdoors with your host, John Cruz.
It's sockeye time here in the Northwest, specifically in Washington State, where a number of sockeye fisheries are open, and we're on the cusp of another one as well. We'll start off with Baker Lake in Northwest Washington. As of July 10th, when the season opened there, 10,600 sockeye were swimming in the lake, and it's shaping up to be a really good season, with numbers expected to be better than last year when 32,000 sockeye returned. There's a 5-fish limit at Baker Lake. Might want to head out there. Beautiful place to fish, by the way. Very scenic, right under the shadow of the big mountain. A lot of folks are heading to the Columbia River as well. The waters around Wanapum Dam near Vantage, Rocky Reach Dam near Wenatchee, Wells Dam by Pateros, and of course, the famous Brewster Pool are benefiting from a much better than expected sockeye run this year. How good of a run are we talking about on the Big C? Well, the original forecast was a dismal 100,000 fish or so. However, the 100,000 count has been upgraded to 400,000 plus fish, and as of July 6th, over 318,000 sockeye have crossed over Bonneville Dam, so we may beat that forecast too. With sockeye fishing in mind, we are going to chat with Max Lure Pro Guide Mike Roth. He's the owner of Team Takedown Guide Service in Wenatchee. Mike's been literally slaying the sockeye on the Columbia River, and he'll share some tips with you so you can do the same. By the way, the Lake Wenatchee sockeye fishing is going to go off anytime now, and Mike's got some advice for fishing that Central Cascades Lake too. If you're wondering what lure to use, Lance Mers with Max Lure Company has got the ticket for you. It's the Max Cha-Cha Sockeye Rig, and Lance will tell you all about it during this week's Max Minute. We'll shift gears from sockeye fishing to public lands management. I think most of you know I'm a big fan of public lands access and the federal management of our lands that goes with it, as opposed to state control, which could result in the loss of these lands. However, I'll be the first to admit that sometimes it doesn't seem like outdoor recreation and access is much of a priority to agencies like the U.S. Forest Service. That's why we are shining a spotlight on the Wenatchee Okanagan National Forest this week. We'll be asking Deputy Forest Supervisor Jason Kukin some hard questions about why campgrounds and trailheads on the Eniat and Wenatchee rivers are still closed, as well as a number of roads and other campgrounds near Lake Wenatchee. In addition to this, we'll be asking Jason about those Forest Service recreation passes we pay for and whether the money is being used to help reopen these areas, some of which have been closed since 2014. We've got outdoors news for you as well, along with some suggestions on where to go fishing throughout the state of Idaho for trout and more. And of course, we have our trivia question of the week, where you get a chance to win a $25 gift card from Sportsman's Warehouse by answering our question on our Facebook page at Northwestern Outdoors Radio or through our website at northwesternoutdoors.com. But before we get into another hour of fishing and Forest Service land management, we've got another edition of Sportsman Spotlight for you with Matt and Tom. This week, they are highlighting the Northern Pike Minnow Sport Reward Fishery, your chance to go fishing on the Columbia and Snake Rivers and make some serious dough in the process.
This is Sportsman Spotlight with Matt and Tom. We've all seen those reality TV fishing shows where fishermen net hundreds of thousands of dollars. Well, what if I told you you could be making thousands right here in the Northwest fishing the Columbia and Snake River for the Northern Pike Minnow bounty? According to PikeMinnow.org, Bonneville Power has been funding the removal of these fish for over 25 years. These are native fish to the northern waters, and the goal is to control the population and remove 10 to 20% and not eradicate them completely. Here are some quick details on the rewards program from a video off the PikeMinnow.org website.
If you fish the Columbia River, then you've probably caught pike minnow before, just incidentally. But did you know that through the Northern Pike Minnow Reward Program, which is a project of the Pacific States Marine Fisheries Commission, you can be paid between $5 and $8 for each one of those fish, depending on how many you catch. during the season, which is May through September. The pike minnow is a salmon and steelhead smolt's #1 predator. So by participating in this program, you're not only helping the salmon and steelhead, but you're also putting money in your pocket. Now, the #1 pike minnow fisherman this year caught nearly $100,000 worth of fish.
To catch pike minnow, it's recommended to use about a size 6 octopus hook, and some of the top baits people are using are crawfish, chicken liver, worms, eggs, and soft plastics. For more tips and rules on the Northern Pike Minnow Sports Rewards Program, you can visit pikeminnow.org.
A quality and affordable fishing adventure is waiting for you off Vancouver Island with Chad's Coast-Wide Sports Fishing. Located in Port Hardy, British Columbia, you can drive or fly to your all-inclusive guided fishing vacation. Whether you're after big salmon, hard-fighting halibut, or a cooler full of red snapper and lingcod, you can catch it all here. Better yet, your lodging, meals, and fish processing are all taken care of. Want one more reason to go? The price. With the Canadian dollar exchange rate where it is right now, your U.S. dollar goes further. Space is limited, so go to coastwidesportsfishing.com to book your trip. That's coastwidesportsfishing.com for an incredible BC fishing adventure.
Want to earn a serious reward? You can, and all you need is a fishing rod. There's money to be made catching northern pike minnow. There's too many of them in the Columbia and Snake Rivers, and we'll pay you cash to catch them. Pike minnow eat our salmon and steelhead, and that's no good. The season starts May 1st, runs through September, and the more fish you catch, the more you earn. How much money can you make from this program? Well, last year, one angler earned a cool $100,000. Find out more at pikeminnow.org. That's pikeminnow.org. Go ahead, collect your reward.
I'm gonna take you fishing, honey. You're gonna love it. Gonna get up before the sun rise above us. Got a bamboo pole and
Welcome back to Northwestern Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz, and the big news this week, especially in Washington State, is sockeye fishing. With us here to go ahead and break down sockeye fishing on the Columbia River and Lake Wenatchee is Mike Roth. He is the owner of Team Takedown Guide Service based out of the Wenatchee Valley. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you, John.
So, Mike, I understand you just got off the water, had a banner day fishing the Columbia River. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, we did. We just went out right here in Wenatchee and just tried things out this morning and ended up catching 8, lost a few others, and just had a really good time.
So if you're fishing Wenatchee, I'm guessing you're fishing around Rocky Reach Dam. Were you fishing below the dam or above the dam?
Yeah, we were fishing below the dam this morning.
Okay. Now, when Brewster opens up, I know a whole lot of people are going to be fishing that Brewster pool. Are you using the same techniques below Rocky Reach Dam as you're going to be using up further north on the river at Brewster?
Yes, we do. We run the same, your 8 14-inch leaders with your, Max Cha-Cha squitters, Smile Blades, Max Double D Dodgers, pretty much running, that 10 to 15 feet, down for water.
So here's a question for you. Because you're running so shallow, especially in the early morning, are you using downriggers or are you just long lining it?
We actually played around with some techniques today that I haven't done a lot of, but we just ran some droppers and just some 4 and 5 ounce lead droppers. And, I don't have line counters. I just kind of pull some line from the reel to the first eyelet, and we did, 15 pulls on our 5 ounce leads and 20 to 25 pulls on our 4 ounce leads. And, we kind of stayed about out in that 20-foot water column, and we seemed to do really well this morning.
Now, as the morning winds on, do you have to go deeper to get to those fish? Once the sun hits the water, are you dropping down to 40, 60 feet?
Here at Wenatchee, no, because we're only fishing that shallower water anyway. Brewster, stuff like that, yeah, a lot of times I will. I'll drop down, clear to that 20, 25 feet of water depth.
All right, so fair enough on that. Another question for you, this being the Columbia River, are we basically using barbless hooks here? People are going to want to know that.
Yes, we are. It is all barbless for us up here.
Okay, and the next question, bait. Are you a believer in bait or not?
Yep, I do. I run shrimp pretty much on everything and run Procure's Krill Anise. Procure has a shrimp prawn that actually was pretty well for us today, too.
And I was going to ask you about that, about scent. Is that a real game changer for you? Do you really see that making a difference, or do people do just as well running without scent?
You can run. We ran a couple routes today without scent, just kind of trying things, seeing what was going on. Some days I think it does matter. It is a big game changer having a good scent. Other days it's pretty much, getting the gear and where the fish are at, and it's game on.
you are a pro guide for Max Lure Company, and I heard you talking about quite a few Max Lure products. So let's go ahead and run through the rig again for our listeners so they know exactly what to do. So you can either use a downrigger or, like you, use a dropper weight of about 5 ounces. And in Wenatchee, you're going to be fishing around 15 feet. Up towards Brewster, it's going to be more like 25. So you've got the Double D Dodger, and this is a unique Dodger in terms of how it acts, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It gets some pulsating action in there, speeds up, slows down a little bit for you. So it gives it a little different, I think, than some of your other Dodgers out there on the market.
And you're running a Max Cha-Cha sockeye rig behind that. So it's got the smile blade. It's got the hoochie. Any favorite colors for you?
You know, Max just came out with a new, I believe it's called a UV Glow blade. It basically, a lot of people call it like a moon jelly.
Okay.
That blade has actually done really well for us. I think that blade has been a big game changer that they just came out with that. So that's been a good one. And then your pinks, your oranges of your hoochies. I know they've got some new stuff, I think, out or coming that is that basically looks clear, but it's super UV. And I believe they're putting like a pill float or something like that in it.
Oh, wow.
And those have actually been pretty good, too.
And red hooks. I don't know what it is about sockeye and red hooks, but that's kind of involved with the lure itself, too, isn't it?
Yep, red hooks. I've tried to run into some regular stuff, but the red hooks does seem to work a little bit better.
You know, back in the day, people used to run blue hooks, too. Have you had that experience where those have worked for you, or are you just a believer in the red?
You know, I don't think I've ever tried blue hooks.
All right. Well, there's something for you to try next time you're out there. Do a red versus blue comparison.
Uh-huh.
And last but not least, leader length. From the Dodger down to the lure, are you running about 4 feet?
So from the Dodger to the lure, you want to be about 8 to 14 inches.
Oh, wow. So not far at all.
Yeah, no, not far at all for these sockeye. You want to stay pretty close like that because your Dodger, as it's whipping around in the water, is whipping your bait back and forth. And these sockeye are a little more aggressive. They like that faster action, that sharpness, and boom, they come up and just grab a hold of that stuff. And
Okay, great advice there. Glad I asked. Again, folks, you're listening to Northwestern Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. We're talking to Mike Roth. He's the owner of Team Takedown Guide Service, or based out of the Wenatchee Valley. He can take you sockeye salmon fishing on the Columbia River. And soon, if it's not opening up already, when this broadcast airs, it's going to open up really quick, Lake Wenatchee. And that is a really popular fishery for the sockeye, isn't it, Mike?
Yes, it is.
So do you generally launch at the Lake Wenatchee boat launch, which is just kind of a zoo because so many people are trying to launch there, or do you head on up?
Yep.
Okay, so you don't try to launch at the Forest Service campground over at Glacier View?
No.
Okay.
No, I never have.
Okay, so it's how far of a run from the state park to basically where you're going to be catching the sockeye?
You know, realistically, you don't have to run too awful far. We'll run up a little ways on either the left-hand side of the lake or even the right-hand side of the lake, and you run up maybe 5 minutes, maybe.
Oh, that's nice.
So, yeah. And then you're probably halfway in between the lake, and then, you can just troll your way on up to the north end.
Right, and that north end, or I should say basically the north end, kind of right across from Glacier View Campground. That seems to be the traditional place where people do a lot of their trolling for these sockeye. And they're stacked pretty heavy over there, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
So let's talk about one more thing here. Do you do anything different on Lake Wenatchee than what you're doing on the Columbia River to get sockeye?
Well, Lake Wenatchee, you cannot run any scent, no bait. It's artificial only. And a lot of times, your best bet is 2 red numbered 2-aught hooks and run them.
Really, just the bare hook fishery, huh? Behind the Dodger.
Yep. Oh. It is a bare hook fishery up there that seems to work the best. So yeah, you get down there about 70, 80, 90 feet and run them and slow. You want to run those pretty slow up there, about 1 mile an hour, maybe 1.4.
Okay. And I guess we should go back to the Columbia River. What's the speed you're running your rigs on that? Is it faster speed?
Yeah, I'd say probably a little faster. I mean, you've got a lot more current out here, so it's a little harder to kind of judge what's going on with all of your stuff. Some people, like my fish finder has a GPS, so it only tells me I'm running like 0.4 to 0.5. Well, I know that's not correct. Just kind of watching the action of your rods. Make sure your rods are having a pulsating action so you can tell that dodger is actually whipping back and forth.
All right. We are out of time, but folks, if you want to go fishing with Mike Roth and Team Takedown Guide Service, go to his website. It's just teamtakedownguideservice.com. That's teamtakedownguideservice.com. Or you can give him a call at 509-885-4401. That's 509-885-4401. This sockeye fishery is pretty short, so you're going to want to call right away because he's not going to have a lot of space. Mike, thanks for telling us all about this on Northwestern Outdoors Radio.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having us today.
You're gonna love it. Gonna get up before the sun rise above us. Got a bamboo pole and a leaky boat. It ain't much, but if you bail, it'll float. I'm gonna take you fishing, honey. You're gonna love it.
It doesn't matter what sort of adventure you're after. Whether it's big game deep in the backcountry, a day of fishing out on the water, or an overnight in the great outdoors. At Sportsman's Warehouse, we've got the gear in here for what you need out there. Gear up for your next adventure at one of its Sportsman's Warehouse stores or shop online. Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter.
The road is calling you to experience one of Oregon's 7 wonders, the Wallowas. So grab your camping equipment and fishing gear and head out to Northeast Oregon, where you'll find the views are endless, the air crisp and clean, and the water's cold and clear. Set up camp by the shores of Wallowa Lake or in the heart of the Wallowa-Whitman National Forest. Take your fishing gear and cast your bait into the deep waters of Wallowa Lake, or roll your fly into one of the eddies of the many freestone creeks and rivers teeming with fish. This summer, take the road that leads to wonders. It begins at WallowaCountyChamber.com.
We're back with John Cruz on Northwestern Outdoors Radio.
It's time again for another Max Minute.
Fish on!
Brought to you every week by Max Lure Company. Sockeye season is here. Folks are catching sockeye on the Columbia River out of Baker Lake, and I think pretty darn soon, if it's not open already by the time you hear this, Lake Wenatchee too. With us here to tell us about a lure you can use to get a whole bunch of sockeye in the boat is Lance Mers. Lance, what should we be using to get some sockeye?
John, the Cha-Cha Sockeye series is fantastic for catching sockeye. It comes in 5 different colors, mostly pinks. It's got a 1.5-inch smile blade on there that really adds some flash and attraction.
Now, we talked about the sockeye rig itself a couple of weeks ago, which basically had the smile blade and a couple of red hooks. How is this one different?
Well, again, it's got that 1.5-inch smile blade, but it's got a hoochie skirt on it, okay? And the hoochie skirt itself, again, primarily comprised of whites and pinks, which sockeye absolutely love, and then 2 1/0 hooks with beads in between the hooks.
Now, we talked about bait before, and I know a lot of sockeye anglers, they fish bare hooks, but you like to fish a little bit of shrimp on yours, don't you?
Well, I do, and it's a personal preference, but I like to tip my shrimp on the top hook and leave that trailer hook wide open so those sockeye can really get in there.
Okay, last but not least, sockeye season is a short season, so people want to get these right now. Where can they find the Max Cha-Cha sockeye rig?
Well, most of the local retail stores are going to have an abundance of these because they know how important the sockeye is up here in Washington primarily. And you can also go to maxlure.com and check us out.
All right, there you go. Whether you're looking for the Max sockeye rig or the Max Cha-Cha sockeye rig, look for it, get it now, because this season's not going to last forever.
A quality and affordable fishing adventure is waiting for you off Vancouver Island with Chad's Coast-Wide Sports Fishing. Located in Port Hardy, British Columbia, you can drive or fly to your all-inclusive guided fishing vacation. Whether you're after big salmon, heart-fighting halibut, or a cooler full of red snapper and lingcod, you can catch it all here. Better yet, your lodging, meals, and fish processing are all taken care of. Want one more reason to go? The price. With the Canadian dollar exchange rate where it is right now, your U.S. dollar goes further. Space is limited, so go to coastwidesportsfishing.com to book your trip. That's coastwidesportsfishing.com for an incredible BC fishing adventure.
Hot summer nights mean hot morning fishing for sockeye here in the Northwest, and Max Lure Company has got what you need to catch a limit with the Double D Dodger and 2 great sockeye rigs. The Double D Dodger has a unique fast, slow action and can be fished away from the boat without a side planer. The Cha-Cha sockeye rig and Double Whammy Sockeye Pro both feature a patented smile blade and 2 stout red hooks that won't let go of that salmon when it bites. Max Lure Company, getting you into the sockeye this summer.
Want to earn a serious reward? You can, and all you need is a fishing rod. There's money to be made catching northern pike minnow. There's too many of them in the Columbia and Snake Rivers, and we'll pay you cash to catch them. Pike minnow eat our salmon and steelhead, and that's no good. The season starts May 1st, runs through September, and the more fish you catch, the more you earn. How much money can you make from this program? Well, last year, one angler earned a cool $100,000. Find out more at pikeminnow.org. That's pikeminnow.org. Go ahead, collect your reward.
Pheasants Forever is working hard every day to ensure there's more wildlife habitat for the future. To join us, go to pheasantsforever.org.
You're back with Northwestern Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. We promote public lands access a lot on this show and federal management of public lands as opposed to state control, mainly because if the states control public lands, they can't afford it, they'll be forced to sell it, and that is a loss for you. But I'm not going to lie, we get pushback on this issue, and most of it comes from listeners who are saying that, well, the federal government's not doing a very good job of maintaining and managing their public lands. So I decided to dig into this, and I started close to the area I call home, which is the Wenatchee Valley in central Washington. And looking around, I've got to admit, I've got some questions. I'll just give you a overview of what's closed in the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest here in the greater Wenatchee area. And we'll start off in the Wenatchee-Leavenworth area where the White River Road above Tall Timber Ranch is closed due to a washout. The Chihuahua River Road is washed out as well. Soda Spring Campgrounds is closed. Lake Creek Campground is closed, both due to wind damage and fallen trees from last December. Chatter Creek Campground, popular place, has closed due to root rot and trees. The Tumwater Campground has been closed since 2014 due to fires and flash flood danger, though I'm not aware of any flash floods that have occurred there. Meanwhile, up in Eniat, the town of Eniat is really hurting because they rely on outdoor recreation a lot, and Fox Creek, Silver Falls, and all the campgrounds above it on the Eniat River Road have been closed for 2 years now due to fires and flash flood danger. And again, not aware of any flash floods that have occurred there. Meanwhile, in the Cle Elum Ranger District, the Squawk Campground right along Highway 97 is not open this year due to, well, apparently problems with trees. So we decided to bring somebody, a brave soul, on board to answer some questions about all this. His name, Jason Kiken. He's a Deputy Forest Supervisor for the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me this morning.
So, Jason, tough conversation here, but I'm going to ask, why are all these places still shut down?
Well, so let's start with the Forest Service and what our aims are. Our aim as an agency is to be a multiple-use agency for the public. All of these lands are public lands. They belong to the American public, and providing goods and services from these lands is our central mission. A portion of that is recreation and recreation access. So ensuring that we can provide good access that is safe for the public is paramount. We do have a number of closures in place. All of those closures currently are in place due to public safety concerns, and we are working and dedicated to mitigating each of those safety concerns before we reopen them to the public.
So, Jason, I got to ask, though, especially when it comes to all of those campgrounds and access points up the Eniat River Road and also the Tumwater Campground. It's been 2 years. How long do you get to hang your hat on public safety before you open up these places? I mean, it's been 2 years. There's been no flash floods at either place.
Actually, in the Tumwater Campground last October, we did have a flash flood that inundated a number of the campsites within the campground, all the ones along the Wenatchee River itself. Nearly each one of those was inundated with 6 to 12 inches of water, was my understanding, which was the highest recorded flows within that campground. And it was due to the Chihuahua fire from 2014 in the burned areas that occurred in that fire.
Interesting. This is news to me. There was absolutely no media coverage about that at all that I'm aware of. What about the Eniat River, though? I mean, there's a lot of people clamoring to open up that area. And again, the town of Eniat really sees an economic benefit when people are camping up there because they're heading to their stores and their shops to get goods and supplies.
Absolutely. And that economic benefit is very important to us. We look at recreation as a means to help all of our communities not just survive but thrive. And we recognize that here in eastern Washington, recreation on public lands, be it national forest, state, or BLM, or Park Service lands, all contribute to economies here. And so within the Eniat Valley, or within the Eniat drainage, we do have a number of those sites closed, and that's due to the Duncan fire of 2014, as well as partially from the Wolverine fire of 2015. We have seen movement within Pope Creek up the Eniat, kind of on the east side, just after you would pass the Fox Creek campground. I think I'm thinking of the right campground. And so that creek has been moving. The creek has been moving around. It's been moving silt and other debris down, and that's due to a portion of the drainage up the slope that was heavily burned. It was a high-severity fire, and that there's an ash cap on the soils that we are concerned could, in a thunderstorm, one of our normal July or August thunderstorms that builds in the afternoon and lets 3/4 of an inch to an inch of rain go in an hour. We're concerned that material could all go down valley and inundate some of our campgrounds that are along our streams, and that campgrounds being along streams are kind of a good thing and bad thing. You know, we recognize that people like to camp near water, but in the Cascades, which are continuing to change due to debris flows over time, that's a consideration for public safety anytime we have a fire or other large event.
Folks, you're listening to Northwestern Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. We're talking to Jason Kiken, the Deputy Forest Supervisor for the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest, about the campgrounds and other places that are closed in the National Forest here, and how that is similar to what's going on in a lot of other national forests around the West right now. Jason, next question. What's the plan? What's the timetable to get these places open? And I guess we'll start with the Eniat, because again, that one's been closed for 2 years. I understand what you just said. There's been some troubling issues at a creek there, but you know, creek channels change all the time, and it doesn't mean that we have wholesale closures of vast swaths of public land.
So how I'll answer that is that we are continuing to send some of our experts on the forest out to each of these locations, as well as engaging other experts in the field, either with the U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, or the state of Washington. And that is to send those folks out to look at the stability of those slopes and how they would interact potentially with the campgrounds that we have. We are continuing to open as many sites as early as we can. Our current hope is to be looking at opening all of the campgrounds in Eniat in the next year or two, but that will depend on the ability to open a campground that is safe for the public to access.
We're starting to run short on time, Jason, but before we go, let's go ahead and give folks a website so they can find out more about current conditions in the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest.
Absolutely. And so before I do that, I want to make sure folks know that even with these closures, we still have over 100 developed campgrounds open to the public across the forest, and that's from the Tenasket area down to Natchez. We also have a number of roads and trails and all of those open. Our closures account for a small portion of the recreation opportunities that we provide. And so for folks to be able to see what is currently opened or not open, please go to www.fs.usda.gov/OKAWEN for Okanagan-Wenatchee, and go to the recreation report. I think if you Google Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest Recreation Report, you'll be able to be directed there as well. Or you can stop into one of our offices here in Wenatchee, or one of our district offices. The local ones would be the Wenatchee River Ranger District in Leavenworth, or the Eniat Ranger District in Eniat, or Chelan, Ranger District right in Chelan there. So enjoy this weekend, and if I could put in one plug as we enter the warmer months here, please put out all of your campfires before you leave your campsite, if those are open to campfires at the moment. No fireworks are allowed on the National Forest, and that is to provide safety for our recreating public as well as protecting our natural resources.
And I've got a second both of those thoughts. Jason, thanks so much for being with us on Northwestern Outdoors Radio.
All right. Thank you very much for having me.
At Loophole Optics, they guarantee performance. Those other optics companies, they just warranty failure. That's why every Loophole product has a lifetime guarantee. Think of it as a warranty you'll never need to cash in on. Find out more at loophole.com.
You're back with Northwestern Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz. It's time for news and reports from the field. We start off with a story from KATU in Portland. NOAA Fisheries has renewed the authorization to remove problem sea lions near Bonneville Dam for 5 years. The California sea lions are protected under the Marine Mammal Protection Act, but an exception has been made for these salmon-munching animals who congregate near the dam where a literal smorgasbord awaits. Last year, sea lions ate an estimated 10,000 adult Chinook salmon, and somewhere between 25 and 35% of these salmon are listed under the Endangered Species Act. Since 2008, Washington, Oregon, and Idaho have together killed 166 sea lions, usually as a last resort after trying non-lethal means to harass the animals or after moving them out of the area. The states estimate the sea lion removals at Bonneville Dam have saved 15,000 to 20,000 salmon and steelhead. Heading to Idaho, the Fish and Game Department there has got some suggestions on where you may want to cast a line in the Gem State this month. One place to go for a walk and a wade is the Upper Salmon River. 4,000 trout were recently stocked between Torrey Hole and Decker Flat in the Stanley area. Those fish will supplement the wild rainbows and cutthroats already in the river. The Salmon River is running lower than normal for this time of year, which will make it friendlier for waders but tougher for floaters. Also, you can't beat the scenery. In the Idaho Panhandle, Fernan Lake sits just east of downtown Coeur d'Alene and within walking or biking distance for lots of folks. Fernan is highly productive, holds just about every species of fish found in northern Idaho. Kootenai County Parks and Waterways has developed nice facilities at both ends of the lake. On the west end, there's a parking area, a well-designed boat launch, large fishing docks, and restrooms. Heading towards Clearwater Country, Deer Creek Reservoir is located about 11 miles north of Pierce. It may not be the most convenient location, but it's worth the trip for its high catch rates and unique fishing opportunities. The reservoir is stocked with lots of rainbow trout willing to bite bait, lure, or fly, but what separates it from other reservoirs is its sterile brook trout and tiger trout, which are a cross between brookies and brown trout. The reservoir has a boat ramp, bathroom, and dock, and it's surrounded by a beautiful evergreen forest. Finally, on the Upper Snake in eastern Idaho, check out the South Fork of the Snake River and its amazing cutthroat fishing and rainbow trout fishing. The South Fork is typically fished by boats during summer when the river is running high to provide irrigation, but there is bank fishing too and wading opportunities, especially in the side channels. To find out more about fishing in Idaho, check out the Idaho Fish and Game website. Next on Northwestern Outdoors Radio, we're talking to Jason Kiken again, the Deputy Forest Supervisor for the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest. A lot of you who recreate in our national forest here in the Northwest have bought recreation passes, and you assume that the money is being used for trail maintenance and trailhead maintenance and maybe for our campgrounds too, but we thought we'd ask exactly what the money's being used for. Jason, welcome back.
Thanks for having me again.
So, Jason, we spend, $30, $35 a year for these recreation passes. How much money is generated just for the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest, and where's the money going?
So the money that is generated from the recreation fee program is essential for providing guest services, repair and maintenance of our facilities, law enforcement, and just general habitat restoration and other positive impacts to your national forest. So in 2015, for example, we collected just over $1.1 million in collections, and those expenditures went, the bulk of them went to repair and maintenance of our campgrounds, trails, trailheads, and some other developed sites. And then the second largest portion was to visitor services, and that's to have folks out in the field or at our desks answering your questions, being able to lead the public to these wonderful recreation sites.
Well, that's a great use of the money, but as we talked about earlier in the show, quite a few campgrounds are closed due to damage, and I'm wondering why the money's not being used to open them back up again. Some examples are the Soda Springs Campground, Lake Creek Campgrounds up the Lake Wenatchee area, Chatter Creek and the Icicle. Tumwater Campground actually is a different issue. That's a flash flood issue. And Swak Campground over by Cle Elum off of Highway 97. Again, a tree issue. I would assume it's just a matter of removing trees. Why isn't the money being used for that now so people can recreate?
Well, that's a wonderful question, and the answer is we are using some of those funds to do exactly what you just suggested, and that is to remove those trees, what we call hazard trees, that in the case of Chatter Creek and Soda Springs, as well as Swak, are based on either blowdown or root rot or other insect and disease issues, and so we go out every year and do hazard tree assessments and try to remove all of those trees. The issue partially with some of those insect and disease issues is that they are continuing throughout the year and every year, and so we're trying to manage those because when we invite the public to an area, there's a reasonable expectation that you won't have a tree come down on your tent or camper or RV, and so that's our responsibility to go out and do those assessments and mitigate those hazards.
So here's the next question for you, Jason. Most of these campgrounds have been closed since last winter. The issue has been identified. The open season's very short for most of these campgrounds, basically Memorial Day through September. Why hasn't the Forest Service taken action earlier? Why are these places still closed this summer?
Well, I would say a portion of it is working through prioritizing which campgrounds have issues. We have to do hazard tree assessments in each one of our campgrounds and mitigate those hazards. On the forest, we have approximately 150 developed campgrounds, and that takes a certain amount of capacity, and we work to prioritize not just the highest use and highest desired campgrounds to reopen, but also those that we can open quickest and easiest. So we continue throughout the summer to remove the hazards from these other ones that have more trees that have to come down.
But other campgrounds like Soda Springs, not a very big campground, and you've known about the problem for some time. Why can't we get that one open this summer?
So Soda Springs is one of our dispersed campsites or campgrounds, and that blowdown has occurred. I don't have a lot of specific information about that one, but what I can say is that our district rangers are working with their recreation staff as well as our fire staff to prioritize as well as go out and mitigate hazards as quickly as we can.
All right, we are running short on time, and Jason, you're a nice guy, but I got to tell you, when it comes to the timetable to reopen some of these places, not getting a lot of answers, and our listeners aren't either, so hopefully it's going to happen sooner or later. I do appreciate your time and being here on the radio with us at Northwestern Outdoors.
Absolutely, and I look forward to seeing everybody in the woods this summer.
One editorial note. After our talk with Jason, he got back with me and let me know the Swak Campground there off of Highway 97 near Blewett Pass has reopened. So we have some good news there for you. I also want to note that although we focus on the Okanagan-Wenatchee National Forest, this is a problem that's occurring in national forest lands all around our nation and throughout the Northwest. Take a look at what's going on in your neck of the woods, and don't be afraid to ask questions of your local Forest Service officials. Stay tuned. We've got some upcoming events to tell you about taking place in Washington State for women and at several Sportsman's Warehouse stores too in the Northwest.
Leupold has been building optics in Oregon since 1907, and Leupold binoculars bring excellent optical performance and modern styling to the serious outdoorsman. Whether you're a boater, birder, backpacker, or hunter, Leupold's state-of-the-art binocular lines are sure to fit your needs. From the Poro Prism Yosemite series to the top-of-the-line McKinley Roof Prism, Leupold has a product that is perfect for the passions you pursue. Visit Leupold.com, or your local Cabela's, Bi-Mart, or Sportsman's Warehouse to see the full line of Leupold optics.
This is the time of year to get out and cook out. So make your next meal sizzle with Camp Chef, the brand known for quality outdoor cooking. From camp stoves to cast iron, from smokers to grills, Camp Chef will change the way you cook outdoors. To eat like a king on your next adventure, go to campchef.com or visit your local sporting goods store and get cooking. Whether you're serving breakfast in the backcountry or barbecue on the back patio, savor the simplicity with Camp Chef. Camp Chef, the way to cook outdoors.
At Leupold Optics, they guarantee performance. Those other optics companies, they just warranty failure. That's why every Leupold product has a lifetime guarantee. Think of it as a warranty you'll never need to cash in on. Find out more at leupold.com.
It doesn't matter what sort of adventure you're after. Whether it's big game deep in the backcountry, a day of fishing out in the water, or an overnight in the great outdoors. At Sportsman's Warehouse, we've got the gear in here for what you need out there. Gear up for your next adventure at one of the Sportsman's Warehouse stores or shop online. Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter.
One more time this week for Northwestern Outdoors Radio with John Cruz.
Let's run through some upcoming events. There's a women's workshop being offered that offers instruction on fishing, hunting, and outdoor skills. Women can learn the basics about all of these at Camp Weskowitz in North Bend. This is going to take place September 16th through the 18th. It's an annual workshop presented by Washington Outdoor Women. Instructors will teach 21 classes throughout the weekend on skills such as archery, basic freshwater fishing, fly tying, big game hunting basics, map and compass reading, survival, beekeeping of all things, birding, Dutch oven cooking, backpacking, duck hunting, wildlife awareness, wilderness first aid, and more. Workshop participants must be female, must be at least 18, and you'll need a current fishing license to participate in the fly fishing and basic freshwater fishing sessions. More information about the workshop, including attendance fees and a registration form, is available at WashingtonOutdoorWomen.org. I'll repeat that, the website, WashingtonOutdoorWomen.org. A great opportunity for the ladies out there. Several events taking place at Sportsman's Warehouse stores around the Northwest. First one is a Mule Deer 101 class taking place at the East Wenatchee store. Joe Mosier is one of the best big game hunters you'll ever meet, and he's giving a free Mule Deer 101 hunting seminar on Saturday, July 16th from 2 to 3 p.m. at the East Wenatchee Sportsman's Warehouse store. Again, this is free, and the advice he is going to give you is worth a lot of money. Next weekend, on Saturday, July 23rd, from 3 to 4 p.m., there's an Optics 101 seminar taking place at the gift bar of the Sportsman's Warehouse store in Missoula. Head on out there, learn about all sorts of optics for the field, and you'll discuss topics such as glass quality, coatings, Poro Prism versus roof prism, warranties, and accessories. In a like manner, there's a Rifle Scopes 101 course going on at the Hillsboro store, also on Saturday the 23rd from 2 to 3 p.m. Just head to the hunting department, learn about the various types of scopes that they carry in the store, and they'll help you find the right one for your rifle. And now, it's time for your Sportsman's Warehouse Trivia Question of the Week. A lot of people don't know the drift boat, that wonderful vessel favored by stream anglers throughout the Northwest, originated in Oregon. They were originally built out of wood, and their design was developed on two rivers, both known for excellent fishing. I'm not going to have you debate which riverboat came first. So instead, I'll just ask you if you know the names of either one of these rivers that these drift boats were named after. If you do, go to our Facebook page at Northwestern Outdoors Radio, find the post, like our page, give us our answer, or you can do so through our website at northwesternoutdoors.com. Just go to the Contact Us page and let us know. Those drift boats made in Oregon, which rivers were they named after? You just have to give us one of the rivers, and that qualifies you for an entry. One person who guesses right will win the $25 gift card we give away every week from Sportsman's Warehouse. Another website to check out is our sister show website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. You'll find last week's show there and a list of the 24 stations in 5 states that air our show along with air times. Is your station not there? Well, call up your local station and say you'd like to hear America Outdoors Radio. That might just help us get on the air where you live too. Speaking of websites, I've got to tell you about an internet radio station I listen to quite a bit. It's also an internet station that airs both Northwestern Outdoors and America Outdoors Radio. It's WRVO Radio, and the website RenoViolaOutdoors.com. It is dedicated to outdoors programming 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I listen to it quite a bit, and I suspect you will too if you love the outdoors. The website again, RenoViolaOutdoors.com. That's all for this week. It's a great month to fish, not only for sockeye, but also for Chinook salmon, for trout, for bass, for panfish, and so much more. It's also a great month to hike, bike, camp, and explore. So until next time, take care, God bless, and make it a point to spend some time outdoors.